What's up, everybody? Welcome to the very first episode of the Red Light, Green Light podcast. My name is Jeremy. I'm your host, joined by my other host, Aaron. What's up, Aaron?
Hey, how's it going? Pretty excited.
Yeah, it's the first episode. We've done podcasts before, but this one is different in several ways. But first up, this is a podcast about mostly just Xbox, Nintendo, and all the third party around that. Not really so much focused on Sony anymore. Like our last show was just everything, anything. But sometimes Sony will still come up when I'm playing a Sony game or big Sony news comes out, like how they bought Bungie a little bit ago, that kind of stuff. Um, so normally the topic of the show, which we will have one for every show, will either be in the news because of something huge happening, like Microsoft buying everything, or it will be after the news about something else that we've come up with. But today, I've got it at the top here. There will be timestamps, so if you don't care about us, you just want to hear about what's going on, you can skip over it. But the topic of the show is just who we are, where we came from as far as video games and all that stuff. So, Aaron, why don't you start it off first? Where did it all begin for you, and where up to where you are now?
So I guess my journey would have begun back in um I'd say the late '80s. Obviously, I was born in the early '80s, so wasn't not a child prodigy. I didn't come out of the womb with a controller, which would have been cool. But so late '80s, probably I'd say I mean '89, '90. To the late '80s, early '90s. That's when my video game journey started. So obviously at that time the only system available was the NES, so that's where I began on the Nintendo, the OG Nintendo. Just started there, kind of just was a passing thing. Gaming wasn't then what it is now, but but it was still a big deal. And so kind of started on the NES. Mario obviously was my first uh superhero. I was like he was my first go-to. I was like from day one. NES Mario, like it just hooked. So yeah, so my journey started there and just I guess continued over all the generations to follow. From the NES to the SNES, and which obviously was mind-blowing, going and jumping from the 8-bit graphics to the 16-bit graphics was just a huge deal. In my opinion, the SNES is one of the the greatest consoles ever, next to PlayStation. But it's still like OG PlayStation, not like PlayStation as a company, but like the PlayStation, like probably PlayStation One. But so the SNES was the coolest system. Just so my journey started there. I started to get pick up stuff there, and then just continued on. Kind of went through all the different consoles. It wasn't always just Nintendo. It was always we went through the Sega Genesis. As I moved on, then we got the never really dabbled in the 32X, but then moved on to the the bigger consoles, the Dreamcasts and the Sega Saturns and the one that I again an underrated system, but the TurboGrafx 16 definitely that's probably one of the biggest video game consoles I got into as a young uh probably young person. I don't know, probably early teens, 10s, 11s, 12s, moving up into so playing the TurboGrafx 16 was a big deal. I was innovative for its time, so that was cool. That was so I got to experience that. There was a lot of cool back then. There was a lot more consoles on the market than what there is now. Like now, you got your 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 triple threat. You got your Nintendo, your PlayStation, and your Xbox. Then people were trying new things. You had your Nintendos and your Segas, and then you had your Jaguars, and you had your TurboGrafx, and you had your just different people trying to do different things. That's when we had like I said, the Dreamcast and the Sega Saturn, and people weren't afraid to take chances, and so it was kind of cool. So we got to experience a bunch of different consoles and how they functioned, and just kind of see it kind of unfold over time and turn into what it is now, which is kind of cool. And then obviously my journey continued up to the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, skipped 3, 4, played 4, don't have 5. um, and then, yeah, dabbled a little bit in Xbox. Never got a big fan of Xbox. Xbox, OG Xbox came out, didn't care for it. You know, um, Xbox 360, fell in love. Xbox One, not so much. and then the current Xbox, don't have one, but kind of got like a little bromance for it because I like what they're doing. So that's kind of been my journey, just kind of like I've come up with the consoles, and was fortunate enough to uh, not necessarily own all the consoles as coming up, but got to experience all the consoles and kind of living through the, I guess you could say, the golden age of video games. I don't. Some people don't like that term, but that's, in my opinion, that's kind of what it was. It was, you know, the the console wars, and then all those things coming. I got to
Mhm.
experience and live through those times, and so it's kind of fun. So my video game experience just goes back to that, I guess.
Nice. Yeah. So I was born in the early 90s, as opposed to Aaron being born in the early 80s. So my first experience with video games was the PlayStation 1. My dad had one. First game I ever played was NFL Blitz. It's a classic right there.
Great game.
Arcade. It's in the arcade. I think it was on N64. And but from there, the first video game I ever owned was the Toy Story 2 adaptation, which was awesome at the time. I don't know if it holds up. It's been a long time, but so from there, obviously we got the PlayStation 2 when that came out. Obviously, the big selling point for that was the DVD player. Um, and then the first Nintendo console I had was a GameCube. My dad got us one. We had Luigi's Mansion and got Mario Sunshine and some uh, other gyms, GameCube gyms. Um, but that was my first Nintendo experience. Uh, and I didn't go back to the older consoles like that, much later. And then my uncle had a Sega Genesis, which I thought was like the coolest thing ever. It was like, Lion King, which was, stupid hard. Um, Mortal Kombat, all that good stuff from the Genesis. So, Sonic, Aaron's favorite game of all time, Sonic
Yeah,
the
love
Hedgehog.
it. Play it every day.
uh, and then so after PS2, 360, I knew what the Xbox was, but it wasn't really on the radar. And then uh, I heard about the 360, but I was, PlayStation kid. I had PS1, PS2. I was like, oh, well, obviously I want PS3. So from there, we actually ended up getting a 360. My parents got us one because my cousins had one, and they're like, "Oh, they'll just be able to swap games or something." And that's when the real love began for the video game industry. I guess I started paying attention a lot more. I was like, "Oh, these are the good games." The other trash, not so much. That I was getting. Online multiplayer was obviously big on the 360, Call of Duty and Halo, um, and that's kind of where it took off. I still a PlayStation kid. I got a PS3 later, and then PS4 eventually. I was one of the people that got an Xbox One first. I was one of those people,
Uh,
and then to now where and I also, as far as Nintendo goes, uh, what was after GameCube? We had a Wii. Eventually, I did get the Wii U, and then of course all the handhelds: Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, DS, 3DS, all that stuff, and obviously now the Switch. So now I do have. I'm very fortunate enough to have all three: Switch, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X. So I get to enjoy all of it. So
the trifecta.
yes. So we decided to go from a podcast that is all things gaming to more of a focused Nintendo and Xbox thing, because Xbox is really where I pay attention to. Nintendo, while I like Nintendo a lot, that's really Aaron's main focus is Nintendo, and he tells me stuff all the time, and I'm like, whoa, I had no idea that was even a thing. So. So that's kind of why PlayStation just isn't going to be as big of a focus on this one. Um, but there's plenty of PlayStation podcasts out there that you can go listen to. So with that, Aaron, let's get in the news.
Yes, let's do this.
Number one, WB and Avalanche Games Harry Potter IP Hogwarts Legacy game. They teamed up with Sony this week to deliver a state of play where we saw 14 minutes of gameplay. Details were given on how you play a fifth year student who is starting late at Hogwarts, coinciding with ancient, long forgotten magic that's starting to pop up again as you start your Hogwarts journey. The combat system was shown off, as well as a skill system, potion crafting, creatures or monsters you'll be fighting, as well as talking to. And the world of Hogwarts Legacy, they showed all the environments, Forbidden Forest, the little town that's escaping my name that's outside of Hogwarts. That's there. And we were given a release window of holiday 2022 and a native port for Nintendo Switch. Surprisingly, was also announced. Aaron, did you watch the gameplay that was shown?
So unfortunately, I have not had a chance to watch it yet. There's been a lot of stuff going on here, but I've seen different screenshots and things, and I had saw like the Nintendo Switch announcement, and I was like, what? I was like, this is
Right,
crazy. But no, the game looks amazing. I mean, from the screenshots I've seen, like I said, I haven't seen any of the video yet, which I really want to sit down and like really invest in because I'm super pumped for this game. Like I've been like since this game was announced, like I think I saw it in like a Game Informer like a long time ago. I'm like, okay, when's
mm-hmm.
this game coming? So I've been on, like so the fact that it's here and it's coming so soon, so I'm pretty pumped for it. But so yeah, no, unfortunately, I have not seen the video, but like I said, I've seen screenshots and it looks good.
Yeah, it looks. I think it looks really great. I guess I would consider myself a Harry Potter fan. I read the books in high school and watched all the movies, and I have not seen the new Fantastic Beasts series movies yet.
Mm.
But I will at some point, probably this year, because I think they're on HBO or something. Um, so I'm definitely gonna watch those at some point, and then um, but yeah, it looks really good. It looks a lot like the combat looks a lot of fun with the spells and all that. Wandering around and making potions, just exploring Hogwarts. Like it looks really awesome, and I'm surprised that it's coming to Switch natively.
Yeah,
Um, Maybe they know something we don't, and there's like a Switch 2 coming out before then or something.
and it's funny.
Uh,
Yeah, it's funny you said that because I was thinking the same thing. Like I'm like, because somebody said something, but I saw a tweet and I wish I'd saved it, but I didn't. I didn't save it and should have retweeted it. But they said something like that. We got it. There's a native port coming to Switch. It's like way to go, Avalanche. Like something about like way to use your magic. And I'm like, I don't know how they're gonna. Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna fit this
yeah.
on here. But unless, like again, like you said, there is a new Switch and it's coming sooner than later. That would be super. That would be easier for them to do. And what a
Yeah.
launch title for it.
Yeah, but
I mean,
also, I mean, WB, you know, NetherRealm did get Mortal Kombat 11 running on it, so I don't know. Maybe they got some Switch magic over there.
they.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, but but it's. I mean, either way, it's. I mean, it's. So I'm excited. Like you said, like I'm a Harry Potter fan. Like I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. Like I've watched the movies like
Hmm.
10 times each at least. Read the books. Watch like they watched the Fantastic Beasts, which is fits into the universe. Like it's almost like you're watching a Harry Potter movie. Like they've done a good job with those movies, and so this is just if they do it right, which WB has done really well as far as marketing for Harry Potter. Like on some things, there's some things I'm like okay, whatever, but they've done really well with their marketing for Harry Potter. And so if they can do what they do with their the franchise on that part and bring that magic, if you will, to this game, then this could be a freaking fantastic game. So, I mean, they've done really well with Mortal Kombat since they've taken it over. I think,
Hmm.
since I think WB bought out, it was midway before, and then now it's WB. But they've done really well with Mortal Kombat games, and so I don't know. We'll see. I'm pretty like so. I'm super pumped, pretty
Hmm.
excited, and got a little bit more excited when I heard it was coming to Switch. Actually, like my heart kind of skipped a beat. They're like pre-orders are up on Amazon. I was like, I don't believe you. So I was like, I'm still skeptical. I'm just gonna say because I've been on Amazon looking
It,
for this pre-order. I can't find it. So I'm just saying. So I don't
yeah,
know.
I'm really curious about how it runs on the Switch. If it runs well, ain't no way I'm buying it on Switch personally. I'm Xbox Series X over here,
Yeah,
but you
somebody
know
wants them.
if
Somebody wants them
someone just
60.
Switch, then like Aaron over here,
Hey, look, I'm
buy
not.
every
I don't
Switch
care
game
about
that
frames. Okay, I don't care about
every
frames.
you, you will if it's like 10 frames a second.
Yeah, well, as long as I got hair.
uh, Moving on to number two. A report from website Video Game Chronicle has stated that Xbox first party studio, The Initiative, has had trouble keeping talent. Described as fast and furious exits, the studio has had around 36 people leave during the last year, which accounts for almost half the team. This includes game director Dan Newberger, who previously directed the Tomb Raider reboot games, and many more senior design team members. Crystal Dynamics, the Square Enix owned team responsible for Tomb Raider and the Avengers Live Service game, was announced to be working on the Perfect Dark reboot with the initiative back in September 2021. But now it seems that they are taking on a larger role than was initially expected. This all seems to stem from development progressing slowly and a lenient Microsoft regarding that lack of progress. So, Aaron, I have not played the original Perfect Dark game, but I know it was an N64 Rare game, Rare
Yeah,
Company game. Um, do you have any experience with Perfect Dark?
I do not. I have like no experience. Like I will say like the N64 was that system for me where I feel that I don't know, maybe people are gonna hate what I'm about to say, but it was not a very good system. Like I
Right.
didn't like a lot of the game. You had your classics like Mario 64. I played, and that, but that was pretty, probably the extent of my journey. I mean, I played, the greatest game of all time, which is, I can't remember the name of it. That's how good it was. It was the one, and some people who, if they listen here, the main character's name was Brian. Um, so it was some RPG, action RPG game. I can't remember it, but it was
Was
like
it
the staple.
was it Quest 64?
That's it.
Is it really his name is
Yeah,
Brian?
Brian. It's the greatest
That's
game ever made.
hilarious.
I'm just saying. Beat it in like 10 hours. Anyway, so that was the extent of my journey on the N64. So I missed out on Perfect Dark, but I hear a
Yeah.
lot of people talking about it. It's kind of one of those cult classics, you know?
Yeah. And it seemed like a lot of people were really excited when the reboot was announced. I think it was announced about the same time that the Fable reboot was announced. So, I was looking forward to it because I'm always down to shoot some aliens or something.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, uh, and then I know like people like that character. I think her name's Joanna. Um, so I know a lot of people were hyped up about this, and so it seems like they're having some troubles. Not typically unusual for Xbox in the past to have development issues like this, um, but with Crystal Dynamics coming in, which was surprising to everyone last year, and now that seems like they've kind of taken over the development mostly. Um, I don't know. We'll just kind of have to see how that plays out. I don't expect this game, especially after this report, to be coming out, you know, any sooner than 2024 at the latest or earliest, I should say. Um, which is unfortunate. Xbox unfortunately has had the reputation of having no games, which is not entirely wrong uh, in the past. So the more trouble they have with games, it's not great. So
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, like talking about the people leaving and the lack of talent and all this stuff, and it's true. Like, and it's not just with Xbox, but unfortunately, like I'm hearing, I watch follow some people in the business and stuff, and they talk about, this stuff is happening everywhere. People are leaving. They're posting job posts, and nobody's wanting to. They can't find the talent, and it's becoming harder and harder to develop some of these games, and it's mainly around these corporate. So it's mainly around Microsoft and Sony. Obviously, Nintendo does their own thing. Like, Nintendo's got their, you know, they have a system and their employees, and it's a different type of setup. But you definitely hear in this industry of a lot of talent leaving certain companies, and it's unfortunate.
Hmm.
It's like, yeah, like you said, it's, on the local level, I guess, blue collar and, whatever level, we always talk about how nobody wants to work, but then, you don't ever think about these bigger corporations, and you don't think, like, maybe it's the same thing for them, and it seems to be that way. Like, nobody wants jobs there either, or, people are just looking for certain things, and if they don't get it, then they go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, turnover is high, everywhere. Like you said, blue collar to high up like this, big corporation. So,
Right.
um, something to keep an eye on for sure. Like I said, it's unfortunate because I was, looking forward to seeing what Perfect Dark is exactly, because I know it's a first person shooter. There's aliens, but like I was curious, like how are they going to make this different? Because we already have a first person shooter with aliens.
Yep.
It's called Halo. So I was just kind of curious to see if they were going to do anything different. And now we have, with Bethesda, now we have like Doom and Quake and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I was curious to see what they were going to do with it. Still curious. Hopefully, they're able to kind of turn this around a little bit. So
Yeah, yeah, you never know. I mean, I know it's kind of disheartening when you see that the game director
yeah,
is
right.
gone. It's like, well,
Yeah, the guy who the vision they were following.
yeah,
Um,
but sometimes it's not a bad thing. Sometimes,
yeah,
some fresh blood in there can really turn something around. So
for sure.
yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is unfortunate for those who are still there, who have put the work in, and now they've just kind of got to,
Yeah,
they got to wait and possibly never see any fruit come from the labor.
yeah,
So
possibly start all over
yeah,
again.
and that would be extremely frustrating for them.
Yeah.
So
Number three, Chinese mega corporation Tencent has now become a majority shareholder of Tequila Works, a game studio based in Madrid. Tequila Works has made games Rhyme and Guilt, and is now working on Song of Nunu, a League of Legends story in partnership with Riot Games, which is also owned by Tencent. Now you'll hear us talk about Tencent quite a bit, just as the episodes go on, because they are seeping into everything in the
yep.
games world. They're the number one. I think I said this last week on our last episode of the last show. Uh, I said they were number two. They're actually number one uh, of the uh, number one most revenue in video games, and
Hmm.
followed by Sony and then Microsoft. Um, so they are huge, especially in the mobile space. With I think they run Call of Duty Mobile, so that's obviously huge in other countries. Um, and they own a lot of they have stakes in a lot of game companies, as well as owning a lot of game companies now. And obviously Riot Games is huge, League of Legends is huge, even though it sucks. And and now
That's
League
fun.
of Legends, a couple years ago they did say they were branching out into other things. We just saw there's like a Netflix movie, I think, about a character, a League of Legends character, and there's also these smaller games popping up that are different genres of game. I think one's already came out late last year, I think, and now we have Song of Nunu uh, coming out. So, but yeah, Tencent, just keep in mind that they're this Chinese company that has ties to the government, Chinese government,
Hmm.
who run concentration camps and all that kind of stuff. So just I'm not going to tell you you're a bad person if you play this Song of Nunu game, but I'm just saying be aware, be aware.
Yeah, didn't so Tencent, because Tencent's been around for a minute. Like, they kind of snuck in there.
Hmm.
They made some of those battle arena games, kind of like the the knockoff League of Legends games. Like
Right.
I think they made. I don't know if it was a game called. I'd have to look it up. But Arena of Valor is the one that comes to mind, and I don't know if that's Tencent or not. But did is Tencent not have their hand in making the new Pokemon game? I can't remember what it's called. Pokemon Unite.
Let me double check. I got their thing pulled up here. Uh, Tencent. I don't think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I know that they're really big into the
Yeah,
arena
I
battles.
don't see anything unless they had something to do with porting it maybe to another country, but I'm not seeing anything about Tencent. Like I said, they do Call of Duty online, or yeah, Call of Duty online, League of Legends. They they do have an investment in Epic, so they help with Fortnite. Um, yeah, I don't. Tencent games.
All right, yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah,
yeah,
jointly by the Pokemon Company and Tencent Games Timmy Studios. Timmy Studios. So yeah,
yeah.
they did.
So see, sneak in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they use these different names.
yep,
This Timmy Studios, which they run from what I'm reading here: Arena of Valor, Call of Duty Mobile,
yep.
Pokemon Unite, Honor of Kings. Um, yeah, and also worth pointing out, Tencent owns the gaming website Fanbyte. So just keep that in mind as you are browsing online. It looks like they run some kind of PUBG game too. But yeah, they have all these smaller companies that they run stuff through, like Pokemon Unite and that kind of stuff.
And
So
it's unfortunate because they're. I mean, they are like you said. They're the highest as far as monetary value or whatever. And,
hmm
they get that Microsoft money basically. Like they can buy
yeah,
whatever they want.
yeah, they're Microsoft, but just video games.
Yes. So
Where like as Microsoft does all the other stuff.
yeah,
Um,
their name comes up all the time, and like they, it's so. I mean, it is something to keep an eye on because they could. I mean, there's a lot of stuff they could buy up. They could just snatch it, and it's
yep.
because they literally have the money to do it.
hmm Yeah, and like I said, I'm not saying you're a bad person if you play League of Legends. Okay, well, hang on. You're a bad person if you play League of Legends. Okay, but not because of Tencent. Just because League of Legends is the worst. Just fine. So,
Somebody's got some hate for legends. It's like
uh, it's yeah. So, but yeah, just keep like you'll hear us bring it up, quite a bit because they every couple of weeks you hear about them investing or picking someone up or majority shareholder, that kind of stuff. So
yep.
you'll hear it, and not a lot of places talk about it, but I think it's important to talk about that. So um, moving on to number 4, we have some Game Pass editions, Xbox Game Pass editions for March. Shredders, cloud PC, and console. Uh, Actually, it says Xbox Series X and S, so not sure. Oh wait, yes, yeah, okay, yes, Xbox One. So that is a snowboarding game. It looks pretty cool if you're into that kind of stuff. I'm not really into that anymore. I thought the SSX games were cool back in the
Yep.
day,
Yep.
but yeah, not so much anymore. It's just not my thing. And then up next up, you have the Dungeon of Nehulbeck, the Amulet of Chaos for Cloud Console and PC. That's already out by the time you're hearing this, as well as Shredders. Tainted Grail Conquest for console is coming March 22nd. Zero Escape, the non-airy games for cloud console and PC. That's March 22nd. Norco on PC, March 24th. F121 coming to EA Play and Game Pass on console And then Crusader Kings 3 for Xbox Series X and S, available now with PC Game Pass. And then that is coming March 29th to console. Weird West, Cloud Console and PC on March 31st. And games leaving Game Pass. Or On March 31st, you have Madden NFL 20 leaving Cloud Console PC. Narita Boy for Cloud Console and PC leaving. Shadow Warrior 2, Cloud Console and PC leaving. And then leaving April 11th, Destiny 2 Beyond Light, Shadowkeep, and Forsaken leaving PC. It's already left console Game Pass, but now it's leaving PC Game Pass. And then also with this, there have been some games that have had a touch control for cloud. Among Us, Katamari Damacy Reroll, Luminous Remastered, Paparazzi, Rubber Bandits, Spelunky 2, Telling Lies, Undungeon, and Young Souls. So that is all the Game Pass. Well, not all the Game Pass news because of this next story, but that's what you can expect to play this month. So, Aaron, what do you think about that list? You probably don't know very much like I do because
I was,
I some of those games I haven't heard of,
yeah, I
but
was gonna say, that don't really really
nothing
strut.
speaks to you.
No, no, nothing spoke out to me. I didn't get a vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So the next story kind of goes with it as well. Xbox had a indie live stream this past week on Twitch. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was very busy at work, but they did show off some different kind of games coming to Xbox and PC through their indie program. So, Lost Eidolons is a tactical RPG coming this quarter 3 this year. Crusader Kings 3 we just talked about. That's a like a strategy game. I don't think I said that's coming to Xbox Series X and S on March 29th in Game Pass. And I believe that's also coming to PS5. This one I'm really excited about. Tunic is out now on Game Pass for Xbox and PC. That's a Zelda-like game, but you are a little fox dude,
Yep,
and it
that's
looks
cool.
really awesome. So, hopefully, I'll be checking that out this week and can talk about it next
Yeah,
week.
I've heard really good things about that game.
Yeah, it's scored pretty well. Uh, a game called Immortality, an interactive movie trilogy. Um, Chinatown Detective Agency coming this year. Curse to Golf, 2D. These 2D golf games, popping up. That's launching soon. It says.
I'll tell you.
Trek to Yami looks really good. It's coming from Devolver Digital. That's like a cinematic action adventure. It's if you've seen Sifu, have you seen this game called Sifu, Aaron?
Yes, I have. Yeah,
Okay, so it kind of reminds me of that, but you're playing it's like feudal Japan, and you have you're like a samurai, and you're like fighting with a sword, like a katana. It's
that's
pretty
cool.
sweet. So that's coming to Game Pass as well, I believe. So I'm looking forward to that this spring. Clash Artifacts of Chaos coming to Xbox, PC, and PlayStation this November. Escape Academy coming this year to Xbox, PC, PlayStation, and it's going to be on Game Pass day one. They showed Shredders, which we already talked about. Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn is coming this year, and a game called Rolling Thunder, first-person shooter. Uh, a game called Whalefall RPG visual novel, and a tactical or a survival adventure game, Void Train, also coming to Xbox this year. A game called There Is No Light. It's called described as a brutal action adventure RPG. Out Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC this year. WrestleQuest, described as world's first wrestling RPG. That looks cool. Coming this year, it does include some very famous wrestlers: Macho Man Randy Savage, Booker T, and Andre the Giant. A game called Floppy Nights, a strategy deck builder game. And finally, Paradise Killer out now. Top-down adventure Kraken Academy coming March 22nd to Xbox. Sci-fi narrative RPG Citizen Sleeper out later this year. And Beacon Pines, a quote cute and creepy adventure. So that is all of the indie games that were shown at the Xbox thing with Twitch. You can go online; they have trailers for everything. So yeah, obviously for me, the standout is Tunic, and I'm really excited. I've already downloaded it on my Xbox, so I'm hoping to check that out sometime this week.
Yeah, Tunic looks good. But I was watching a video of that Curse to Golf, and that game looks pretty sweet too. Um,
Yeah, the golf, uh, you know, 2D style RPG, type games. They've been popular for the last couple of years.
yeah, I
Which
mean,
is
it
cool.
wasn't 2D, but I mean that golf story really kind of
Yeah,
set the whole 2D golf thing, the RPG kind of thing off, kind of created a new genre. And like I don't know if you guys play to play, but I played that game and it's actually really amazing.
yeah. I think I was more interested in the sports story, which has disappeared
Yeah,
from.
yeah, I know. It's almost
uh,
just like nobody's talking about it no more.
yeah,
It's like it
that
wasn't
and
real.
uh, that and Silk Song, they're just gone. They disappeared.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that game never coming out. Either one of them.
probably not. So that is all the news I had this week. I know I sent you the doc late today, Aaron. Did you have anything else that I missed?
Well, there was
Um,
something I wasn't thinking about yet. One thing I wanted to bring up and get to see if you maybe if you've heard about it, maybe even get your opinions, what you think. But so I had heard that there was an Xbox hardware leak, um, codenamed uh, Keystone.
I think I heard something a little bit about it. I should have saved the thing. Because yeah, I do remember seeing that, and then I was like, that's nothing, or something, and then I was like, wait, but I couldn't find it again. But let me see if I can pull it up. Because there was something where it was like it was related to something else that was like similar. It's like a similar. I don't. Hang on. uh, Keystone Project Xbox Keystone. The comic book. The new code name might be a revision to the Xbox Series S and X, like the Xbox One and Xbox One S relationship. Will not replace Series S and S. Yeah. But I did hear about it, but I don't know if anyone knew really anything about it, like what it was supposed to be. Um, my guess is it could be either a discless Series X, so like an all digital Series X, or it could be maybe they're doing like their own, like a like some sort of dedicated handheld Gamepass thing where maybe it's like a streaming only handheld or something. I could see that happening. Like $100. Here's like a basically like a phone with a controller on each end, kind of like the Switch, I guess.
Yeah,
But it's all streaming, so I could see them doing something like that, especially right now with all the component stuff. If they just made something small and cheap, I could see that happening too.
yeah.
Um,
That's what I heard somebody else say. Like I hadn't heard about it. I had just heard. I was listening to a podcast actually earlier this week, and the topic came up, and I'm like, what? Like I didn't have any clue like this was a thing. And but they said something along the same lines. Excuse me, along the same lines that you're saying. They said, except for your idea is really cool about a handheld. They said it could be like their own streaming service, kind of like their own Google Stadia. Like it's just a little
yeah, that
dongle
that
that you
too.
plug
Yeah,
in.
the little like a what's it called? Like a Fire Stick
Yeah, that's what they're. And then,
thing.
but
Yeah,
like along the same lines you said, they said all cloud.
yeah, for sure. Definitely see that happening because yeah, they're like partnered with Samsung. I think it was Samsung. Yeah, um, where they're like working on like a Game Pass app for the TVs, Samsung TVs. But obviously, I could see them doing the Google Stadia thing, just better. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
um,
which I thought was really cool. So I mean, it'd be a really neat, interesting thing. Like it'd be a kind of like a budget system. You got
yeah, because
especially with Game Pass.
you buy buy a controller, buy the stick, get a couple months of Game Pass for $100 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could definitely be a thing too.
So I was just wanting
There's
to see.
a lot of ways they could take it.
But,
Okay.
but yeah, other than that, it's just there's not much. I don't think as far as anything Nintendo. It's kind of a slow week. So
Yeah. Well, so that brings us to games coming out this week, this coming week, I should say. So starting on, we have Kraken Academy, which we just talked about, March 22nd, Xbox Series X and S with Xbox One. That's going to be on Game Pass, I believe. And then it's also coming to Switch that day, March 22nd, Tuesday. Also, March 22nd, finally, for a lot of people, Rune Factory 5 is finally releasing
yep.
in the West. And that's not a game I'm picking up, at least not anytime soon. Is that something you are getting after, Aaron?
Uh, no, not right now. It looks good, but I've never been in. I've never been in a. I've never owned or played a Rune Factory game, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I just don't. I mean, it's not. It's not really interesting to me. I mean, from a collector standpoint, yeah, I want it, but
Mm-hmm.
from like a gamer standpoint, I don't have. Like, it's just not
Not your
my
thing.
niche type
Yeah.
thing right now. But
For those who don't know, Rune Factory, it's like a mix between Harvest Moon and like a dungeon crawling type game. So there's the life sim, farming, relationship building, and then you have the other combat heavy side. So, um, which like I said, I've never played a Rune Factory game, but I do like Stardew Valley, which does have a light combat system, light dungeon system, but it's not really anything too deep. It obviously the focus is the farming and the life sim, building relationships with the town people. So, never say never for me for Rune Factory 5, um, but not right now. The Ascent is coming to PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 March 24th, this Thursday. I liked that game quite a bit on Xbox. Unfortunately for me, I went for the 100% and the achievements were broken. So I did not get the 100%. And I never went back to get it. But I'm sure hopefully they fixed it for you PlayStation people. Uh, Friday for PlayStation 5 and PC, Ghostwire Tokyo, that is coming actually from Microsoft owned Tango Gameworks, which will be making its way to Xbox a year from now. It looks pretty cool. Have you seen the gameplay for this, Aaron?
I have not.
Oh, you did.
I have
Okay.
not seen the gameplay. The last time I saw anything about this game, I don't know. Maybe it was at E3. Was it last year or the year before? And
Hmm.
but no, I have not heard or seen. I mean, I've heard a lot of people talking about it, and like a lot of people are still, kind of on the fence, like whether
Yeah.
they're going to like get it. But I mean, the idea sounds cool. It's the whole supernatural,
Yeah,
like
it's like supernatural. You're wandering around Tokyo. There's all these creepy monster things, and then but you do these like Naruto hand sign things where you shoot fire from your hands or something. It looks cool.
that's what I'm talking about.
Uh, I'm
That's
just saying, if you wait a year, it'll be on Xbox Game Pass. So
yeah, which is fine. Like I can wait for that.
right,
But it does the idea does sound cool. It does sound like a really cool game. Like it's everything I'm into. So I mean,
yeah.
it's it's dark, it's scary, it's cool. It's like it sounds really legit, and I like that whole Japanese um lore.
What
I don't
what's
know.
yeah? What's the word for um the Japanese? monster demon. There's like a word, isn't
Yeah,
there?
I think so. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know it off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
I can't think of it.
I know.
It'll come to me, at 3 a.m. I'll wake up
Yeah,
and be like, "It was this."
you'll be like, oh
Um,
yeah.
uh, Obviously, the big game of the week, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, coming to Switch Friday,
Yep,
March 25th.
that is right.
Super excited for this.
Yep, totally, totally,
Um,
totally getting that game. That game's coming day one. I'm so pumped.
yeah, it looks good. I stopped myself from playing the demo. So it's
Yeah,
like you got to be wait, got to be patient.
yeah, I know. I haven't played it. I saw somebody was talking about it, and they were talking about how good it was. I was like, oh, I could download this. I could play this. I could just get a film. I'm like, nope, 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 nope. Kirby needs to experience. He needs a fresh experience. He needs to be left alone and let him just kind of, just kind of soak in his own awesomeness until it comes out. Because yeah, so no, I'm very excited for this one.
Also on March 25th, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, and PC. This is Dungeons and Dragons meets Borderlands. It looks really awesome. I'm gonna have to wait on it though because obviously Kirby, number one, and number two, the Borderlands games go on sale pretty quickly, and they always get a bunch of DLC. So I'm gonna wait on that. But it looks really cool. I'm a little jealous that I can't play it Friday, but it looks good. So, but that is all the games coming out this week. Now, Aaron, so like I said at the top, normally the show will go intro, us starting out. Then I think we'll be talking about the games we're playing, and then we'll get into the news. Sometimes the topic of the show will be in the news. Sometimes it'll be after. But today, at the end, is what we talk about what we've been playing this week. So, Aaron, what have you been playing this week?
It's kind of been a light week, I would say. For me, I'm kind of in that area because I didn't purchase Triangle Strategy, so I'm kind of in a limbo right now with my Switch playing. But I have played a little bit more Pokemon, kind of just shiny hunting here and there, kind of just kind of. Took a break from that. Don't want to get super burnt out. I mean, I've only got 150 hours in the game. I want to. It's all good, but
but Persona 5 is too long for you, right?
yeah, I know, I know. It's weird. Like the 150 hours in Pokemon didn't feel like 150 hours. Like I don't know. It's the progression of the game. It's just,
Right.
I don't know. It's yeah. Pokemon. I have a weakness. Okay, it's a sickness. I'm pretty sure. Like, they do something. There's something in there. It's subliminal messages when you're playing the game. They get in your head. Like
Right.
you can't turn the game off. But yeah, so I played that, and then I played. Just playing. What's Fire Emblem Warriors.
Okay.
Played a little bit of that. Still kind of chipping away at that. Kind of took a break from that too. Like those games for me too. They get very repetitive, so you can get
Mm-hmm.
very burnt out very quick. So you got to kind of, for me, anyways, I take it easy. So, and then I got to a point in the game where like. Either I suck at video games or this game is broken, but I died like 3 times. Like I not died. You can't. It's almost impossible to die, but I lost the mission 3 times, and I'm like, okay, what the frick do you want me to do? So I kind of got a little frustrated. So I was like, okay, let's breathe. I did beat it, by the way, so I will say that. True
There
gamer. I
you
can't. I can't coming back. All right,
go.
I didn't give up. I wasn't gonna let some like 3-year-old, 4-year-old game beat me, but it's okay.
Nice.
And then I did dabble a little bit this week. Got another opportunity to play some VR. So I played a little bit more Beat Saber, and then I played this game, which is on their. I don't know. They have. I guess the. So I got to use the proper term now. The Meta Quest has now.
That's so stupid. I hate it.
But the Meta Quest has this thing called App Lab, which is where I guess some free games come on. There are games that are either like maybe they go in beta or whatever, and so there's this game called Pavlov Shack, and it's a first-person shooter, which obviously I guess when you're playing VR, it's just a shooter. But so it's a shooter, and like so you go in. It's a really cool game. Like the guns are realistic, and like the way you shoot them, you have to actually you have to load them. You know you have to cock them. You have to chamber the rounds and all that stuff, and then you fire and uh, it's pretty cool. But there's also a zombie mode, and
Okay.
so I got to try that, and I played that for all of 10 minutes before I got the living daylight scared of me when a zombie attacked my face. So I was like, that's cool. So yeah, you start off in an airport and you're equipped with a pistol. I'm like, yeah, this is totally Resident Evil. It's like so, and then I'm like, you hear the zombies, but you can't see the zombies, and so I'm like, well, let's run, let's move. So I ran, and it turns out where I ran, the zombies were there, and so I was like, well, run the other way. So I ran the other way, and I went to pull my pistol, and before I could get my pistol up, the zombie was in my face. So I yelled, and that turned the game off.
Nice.
So it was super scary. So it's pretty intense. So, but yeah, totally. VR is just I don't know. Like I said, I'm a turned man. They converted me, but
Yeah, I so want to try it someday. So you'll have to have me over next time. You get your hands on it or
yeah.
something.
Oh yeah, no doubt for sure. Yeah, I think it,
Um,
think you like it. Like I said, it's definitely. I mean, I don't know. This VR people, the headsets they put their phones in. Like I've done that,
yeah,
but there's something about the technology of VR. It's like when you put that. This might sound cheesy, whatever, but when you put the headset on, it literally does transport you to a whole other place. Like it's.
there's a whole anime about that, and it actually takes place this year. It's so crazy how time is just it's continued. 2022. For those that are sort of online, uh, which is some people, a lot of people say like that anime sucks, but I like it.
Oh,
So.
that's that, dude! I binge watched that show when I was found it. I'm like, that's a great show. Sword Art Online is fantastic.
They're like, he's so overpowered. I'm like, yeah, that's what's cool about it. He's just,
Yeah,
he's
but
cool.
what do you want him to
Like,
die? I mean, like he dies in real life. If he dies in the game, come on, people. Let's,
right.
let's not be vindictive here.
Yeah.
We're
Why
all.
don't you go watch 800 episodes of One Piece then? Okay. How about
Hey, watch. I will say I have not watched 800, but I love me some One Piece.
that?
Like I do. I do like me some. I do like me some One Piece. It's a, but it's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah. That's funny. I'm not really an anime person, but I did like Sword Art Online.
Yeah, Sword Art Online is
Um,
great.
so for me, this week was also a light week for me, just because obviously, I've been playing Triangle Strategy. I really like it. Obviously, the art style is great. It's that Octopath 2D HD style, and then the strategy part, which is really fun. But unfortunately, it was a light week for me because I just kept having these I like these issues with my stomach where like it would just hurt for no reason, and I
Really?
don't know why. It's cleared up today, which is great. I'm really excited to play some games after this, but it's hard to focus on what country is messing with another country when your stomach is feels like it's being stabbed.
Yeah,
So
that's not
so
good.
so I didn't make very much progress this week, but hopefully, I know I'm at least a little over halfway through the game. So hopefully, I can get it done before Kirby comes out, and then also, like I said, I want to check out Tunic this week, even though it is apparently kind of hard, and I am not that good at it. It's the Elden Ring of Zelda
Oh
or
my
something. I
goodness.
don't know.
Then maybe I ain't.
But
I'll stay away from that game. It's like it makes me
I haven't
despise
I
video
haven't I
games.
have my brother bought Elden Ring, and I haven't downloaded on my Xbox.
Mm,
I might try it out this week
there
if
you
I
go.
if I get through Triangle Strategy. I might boot it up, and I did see that they nerfed the sorcerer though, or the whatever that class is. So I might not have as much of a easier time than I thought I was going to
Uh,
have. But
it's funny how they nerf the
Elden,
classes that you play as, but they don't nerf the bosses.
yes, right. But yeah, that's all I got for this week. Triangle Strategy. If you like strategy games, definitely got to recommend this one because in the story, I have not watched Game of Thrones, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, that's just not once you cross a certain threshold of how much sexual content like
Yeah.
it's like at a certain point you just gotta say probably no, definitely not. But I've heard that the political stuff is kind of reminiscent of that, so if
Okay.
you're one of those people that can watch Game of Thrones without an issue, then triangle strategy might be for you. So I can tell you, there's no sexual content in this game that I've seen.
That's cool.
So
That's
I think
good.
it's rated like T or something. Um, so, but yeah, definitely check it out if you like strategy games. And that's all I have for this week, Aaron. Anything before we go? Anything you'd like to say?
Nope. Just hope everybody enjoys the podcast. We're excited to be doing this, so hopefully get some, you listeners out there. Just hopefully you enjoy it. Give us some feedback.
Mm.
Leave us some
Yes.
likes, some ratings. So, this is
Yeah.
fun. We enjoy doing this. We enjoy giving you the news. We enjoy playing video games. So this is kind of what we, this is kind of what our, uh, again, we do this for fun, but this is, it is fun. It's, we enjoy talking about this stuff. So this is cool.
Yeah, for sure. And it's exciting. We've got this new setup here, remote setup. We were meeting at my house for several years, and it just kind of fell apart just because we could not, get the schedules aligned as well. So, um, and we'll see. I'm sure this is a pretty easy setup for people to come in. So I'm sure we'll have some guests pop in every now and then. It would be cool to get some. I follow some people on Twitter. It would be cool if we got big enough to where we can kind of get into the in crowd and talk to some of these people
Absolutely.
that are not huge. They're not working for IGN,
Yeah.
but they're still quite I like to say Twitter famous, but
Yep.
um,
They're verified.
yeah. So but hope if not, if this is just something maybe three people listen to every week, that that's cool too. We're just like Aaron said, we're doing it for fun. So we're having these conversations anyways. We might as well
Yeah.
just record
I
them.
was gonna say, yeah, this is like, literally this is what we do. Like, we see each other and it's like, hey, did you play it? And so yeah, this is our life. Like this is the good stuff. So
Exactly. So I'm gonna get go play some Triangle Strategy until it's too late and I pass out. So uh, peace out.
all right, later.